Hey guys, Say What's Zach here, and here is the review for Monday, December 9th. All the games are done, all the American Hockey League games are done. We can put a stamp on tonight. So, let's get into it. Weird night, overall. Just gonna go with that. All the teams I thought would win, lost, except for one. So, that was one of the big, interesting things I'll note on this night. So, first off, New York Islanders taking down the Tampa Bay Lightning. This is the game that I saw possibly coming, but not as big of a loss as it was. 5-1 was the final for the Islanders over the Tampa Bay Lightning. So Islanders are now 27-2. Tampa is now 14-11-3. Again, I didn't get to watch a ton of these games. I watched little pieces because we went and did trivia for Drunk Hockey Mom's / my mom's birthday. So obviously, when you do trivia, if you haven't done it before at the bar, you are not allowed to watch anything on your phone or bring your phone out, so I couldn't watch a lot during the 2-hour span, which was from like 7 to 9. So when most of these games were on, so I don't really get to say much about it. All I do know is I can say what I feel happened here, which was Tampa. Obviously, I'm starting to get to the point where I don't think they're gonna. I don't know. This team is not the team from last year for sure. We've known that for a little while. Everyone keeps thinking, oh, they're gonna go on a win streak. They're gonna do it. I mean, it's almost halfway through December, and this team is very inconsistent. They're out of a playoff spot. They're losing big games by large margins. It's going to be rough. I mean, they're only 3 games above 500 right now. So, I don't know. It's starting to get to that point where hitting a wild card spot might even be hard right now for them. So, we'll see. We'll see if, in the month, how Buffalo, Florida, Toronto, those teams above them are doing. Tampa might actually not make the playoffs this year. I'm starting to get to that point where I think they might not. Especially with these kinds of losses. Especially against a team with the Islanders who aren't known for their goal scoring that much. They get 5 goals against. That's a big deal. So your goal scorers, Johnston at 6:42 of the second from Ryan Pulock. You got Josh Bailey at 8:37 of the second period from Cizikas. Stamkos at 15:35 of the second from Shattenkirk and Cirelli. Brock Nelson gets a couple. He gets one at 7:31 of the third, unassisted, and then he gets another one 14:41 of the third. And that was assisted by Lee and Eberle, so that was good to see. Some of those top players are getting some points. And then Lee gets one at 16:05 of the third from Bailey and Barzal. So Barzal does get help around one of the goals tonight. Stays consistent with getting some good points for this team. Shots on goal, 24 shots for the Islanders, 32 for the Tampa Bay Lightning, which is, again, your final was 5-1 for the Islanders. 3 stars of the game. I decided to do 3 stars of the game tonight because a lot of goaltenders show up, and I listed the goaltenders before tonight's game. You got Brock Nelson was the first star, Semyon Varlamov was the second star, and Kevin Shattenkirk is the third star. So also, if you can see, I highlighted under red all the stats for the teams that win. I don't think I mentioned that before, but that's how we do it here. So, big win for the Islanders. They stay consistent with not only the Washington Capitals, but also the Islanders, the Flyers and the Penguins. They're staying above where they need to be to stay where they are, stay relevant. Next game, big surprise on this one. This is probably one of the more surprising, second most surprising game tonight, I would say. You got maybe I'll say biggest surprise of the night. The Columbus Blue Jackets taking on the Capitals. Blue Jackets go in and win 5-2 against the best team in the league. Only thing I think, no, I'm going to go with this as the biggest surprise. The only reason I'm going to say it's not is because Capitals are coming off a road trip over in California. I think they were just tired. Gave up this game, and yeah, I think after a 5-game winning streak, it's not surprising they're going to lose against a team that can score kind of, who aren't completely, they're not great, but they're okay. They're good enough where if a team's a little worn out like Capitals are, they can do it, which showed it tonight. So the Blue Jackets are now 12-14-4. Capitals are 22-5-5. Still an amazing record, best in the NHL still. Your scoring plays, Atkinson scored at 3:27 of the first from Nyquist and Texel, which some of these players on the Blue Jackets I don't know off the top of my head. Murray scores 6:52 of the second from Robinson, which I don't know who Robinson is. So Texel and Robinson I've not really heard a whole lot about, so I'm going to check into those guys. Ovechkin scores 40 seconds into the third period from Orlov and Backstrom. Nash scores 6:53 of the third from Wenberg for the Blue Jackets, which makes it then 3-1. Then you got Bjorkstrand at 10:37 of the third, scoring from Milano and Jones to make it 4-1. Backstrom scores 17:54 of the third from Ovechkin and Kuznetsov to make it 4-2. And the final goal is Cam Atkinson at 18:12 of the third. Shots on goal was 38-39, so Capitals very close to the shots on net, but didn't quite matter. Blue Jackets still won with their 38 shots, so they scored when they needed to on Holtby, who looked like a little bit more like Swiss cheese than normal tonight, which sucks for my fantasy teams. But anyways, 3 stars of the game were Korpisalo for the Blue Jackets, Cam Atkinson, and Alex Ovechkin. So again, 2 games, 2 goaltenders, and the 3 stars of the game. So good to see there. Biggest surprise tonight, which I've decided, yes, biggest surprise. The Islanders taking on the Boston Bruins. Sorry, not Islanders. Wow, Ottawa taking on the Boston Bruins. Ottawa goes in and wins 5-2 against Boston. That was big win for the Ottawa Senators, and first time Boston's had back-to-back losses, or should I say, second time this season they've had back-to-back losses now. So they lost against the Avalanche the other night, and then they lost this game to the Senators. So that's not a good sign for Boston right now. So Ottawa Senators moved to 13-17-1. Boston is 25-6. Their scoring plays is Anisimov at 1:35 of the first from DeMello and Chabot, making it 1-0 for Ottawa. Anthony Duclair scores at 15:44 of the first from Chris Tierney, so that's now 2-0 for Ottawa in the first. Bergeron scores 17:48 of the first period from Pastrnak and Marchand, which makes it 2-1 at the end of the first. In the second, Tierney scores at 1:21 of the second from Nemesnikov and Duclair. So again, the Duclair and Tierney are doing great, and they're scoring within the first minute and a half of each period, which is good news for Ottawa. Jean-Gabriel Pageau gets another goal at 17:02 of the second period from Nemesnikov and Ron Hansy, can't speak. And then Jake DeBrusk scores at 17:45 of the third from Pastrnak and Marchand. That, I believe, makes it 5-2, or 4-2 at the time. And then Anthony Duclair scores at 19:59. It has a third period from DeMello and Tierney. So Duclair with a couple of goals, making it 5-2. Big night for Duclair. Good to see him doing good. Good to see Tierney doing good. Yeah. Shots on goal, 28-40 for the Boston Bruins, but those 4 shots didn't matter against a really good Nielsen. So your 3 stars of the night: Duclair, Nielsen, and Chris Tierney. So again, 3 games of the night, 3 goaltenders, and 3 stars. So it was a big night for the goaltenders for the teams that are lower on the standings than the other teams, which is good news for those teams. So yeah, glad I chose to watch goaltenders a little bit tonight and pay attention to goaltenders, because yeah, it was a big night for them. Last game was probably the most interesting, the one I got to watch the most of, because it was after we got back from the bar. 5-4 was the final of the Calgary Flames taking on the Colorado Avalanche. Flames win this one in overtime, which is a big deal for Calgary. They are on a good point streak, good winning streak with the new coach. Good news. Improves their record at 16-12-4, and something happened with them in the standings. If you haven't quite caught it yet, you'll see it in a minute. And the Avalanche now move to 19-8-3. Scoring plays: Graves scores at 4:32 of the first from Donskoy and JT Comfort, which makes it 1-0 for Colorado. Then Ryan scores at 9:33 of the second period from Klingington, I'm not sure who he is, and Dubé, to make it 1-1. Then Shushkin scores at 10:04 of the second from Graves and Nieto to make it 2-1 for the Avalanche. It was a very big back and forth game. I caught a lot of the some of the second and a lot of the third, and it was a lot of back and forth. So Matthew Tkachuk, I'm getting all the Tkachuks mixed up, scores at 16:04 of the second from Giordano and Lindholm to make it 2-2. Then Mangiapane scores 12 seconds in the third period from Tkachuk and Lindholm to make it 3-2. And then Frolik scores 1:39 of the third period from Ryder and Jankowski to make it 4-2, which is a huge thing. Again, I was like, oh wow, okay, it looks like all the teams I thought were going to win tonight are going to lose. So that's the point when I said that. Then Colorado came back, and they showed how good this team can be. Nathan MacKinnon, 3:59 of the third period from Calvert and Cole, making it 3-4. And then Donskoy at 10:54 of the third from MacKinnon and Burakovsky, making it 4-4, which forces good overtime. And for the first time, I had to jump over to the other side, making it 2 columns for goal scoring. Sean Monahan scores 2:09 to the overtime from Dubé and Giordano to give them the 5-4 win over the Avalanche. So they both get, Colorado gets a point, Calgary gets the win. Big night for Calgary. 3 stars: Sean Monahan, Keith Tkachuk, and Ryan Graves. So This is the only game that didn't have a goaltender show up, but it was also a 5-4 game, which makes sense. The rest of these are very one-sided games, which has been happening a lot lately with a small amount of games in each night. It seems like they've been very lopsided for one team beating the other team. Except for tonight, like last time I did this review, all the teams that were going to win and better teams annihilate the other teams. This one, the teams that weren't supposed to win, won. So, nice parody of that in the league here. Current standings now. This Pacific's game a little worn off here. Okay. Updated standings. Oilers stay in first with 40. Coyotes stay in second with 40. Calgary moves into the third playoff spot in the Pacific Division with the win. This nice win streak has been paying off with 36 points. They are now third. Central, St. Louis stays at 42. Colorado now moves to 41 within one of the St. Louis Blues. Winnipeg is at third with 38 points. Your wild cards stay the same. 37 points for Dallas, 34 for Vancouver, and that is your West standings right now. East, Boston has 46 still. Florida still has 35 for second. Sabres still have 34 for third. In the Metro, Capitals stay at 49 with their loss to Columbus. The Islanders get 2 points for their win over the Tampa Lightning, which moves them to 42, which is inching a little bit close towards Capitals. We'll see. I don't think the Capitals are going to... This is just a little resting game. It's just they're just resting off that California trip. I think that's all that was. They'll be fine next game. Flyers stay at 39 points, so your wild cards stay the same. Pittsburgh at 38, Carolina's at 37, and their updated standings for the NHL after tonight's action. Not a whole lot of movement. The big one, Calgary moving into a playoff spot. That was a big movement for tonight. Your American Hockey League standings, there was only one game. Utica moves up above a few teams to move into third in the North. So that's a big deal for Utica. I know Utica's been playing very well, especially with DiPietro. I've heard he's been doing amazing over there. So Vancouver has some good goaltending depth at the moment. So it's going to be a big decision time for them next year. Are they going to keep Markstrom? Are they going to keep Demko? Are they going to keep DiPietro? It's good news for a GM to have. Like, who goalie am I going to keep? That's good to have them curious. But anyways, yeah, that's your updated standings now for the American Hockey League, for the NHL, your scores for the night. Again, hope you guys enjoy the videos. If you guys do, give us a like, subscribe, and a share. All that fun stuff. And this is Zach from Say What Zach. Had a great night watching some hockey and playing some trivia. Hope you guys enjoyed some hockey tonight as well. And I will talk to you guys again soon.